What's up, guys? Welcome back. Coach Darrell from castironworkouts.com. Today we have a special guest. We have the beautiful Miss Alicia Carrillo with us today.
Hi everyone.
Soon to be Miss Alicia Gonzalez.
That's still in the works if I change my last name or not, but
it may change, it may not. Okay.
We'll see.
Well, that means that like if you do change your name, like you have to claim him.
Yeah.
Which I've met Leo.
If he wants my last name, and that's on the table too.
I think that'd probably be a better.
He's totally sold.
I think that would probably be a better option. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Cool. So yeah, we got Alicia on today. If you guys do not know who Miss Alicia is, she is a longtime member here at Wit Fitness and Barbell, and she is a nutrition client of mine. We've been doing nutrition coaching together now for about 4 months. And Alicia's having a ton of success. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about that and how awesome Alicia is. No, we're going to kind of talk about like nutrition coaching and, just kind of nutrition in general and some things that Alicia has seen as she's, gotten a little bit deeper into this journey and, starting to, make some huge progress and hit some huge goals and, all sorts of cool stuff. So Miss Alicia, I'm going to let you tell the people about, you personally like working out,
okay.
like what you've, everybody knows you work out here now, but what you do for workouts, and then, what kind of drove you to, reach out and, start working with me on nutrition? Like what was the motivating factor?
Yeah. So I've been coming here for some time, and in the beginning, it was CrossFit, and I realized coming here how competitive I was. And, I was young, I was 22. So it was super easy to just like work out, eat okay, drink and have fun, and you'd still look good. And then 25, 26 happened. And, I realized it was a little bit more difficult to get the weight off. And then I got engaged last year, and it was during the pandemic, and I was doing at-home workouts, decided to come back to the gym. And then I remember my aunt saying like a few months ago, earlier this year, like, I remember when I was getting married, someone told me, if you don't look your absolute best or try to look your absolute best for your wedding, you'll never like be able to diet or anything like that. And that still like lives with me every day. I'm like, okay, so this wedding's really that factor for me to look as best as I can. So I was like, you know what? Darrell's been nutrition coach forever. Like I've been coming here, but I can come and work out, but like I need to actually fuel my body with what it needs for me to actually like see some change. So I reached out and I was like, hey, like I need to be held accountable. Like I can eat healthy 4 days out of the week, but like if no one's, hey, what did you eat? No one's asking me like, why did you eat that? Or, whatever it may be, then I'm just going to act like it never happened, and we can't live that way. So I was like, Darrell, I just need someone to hold me accountable for what I've eaten, like check in with me, know that shit, if I eat this, am I allowed to cuss?
Yes.
Oh.
You're all right. You're okay.
If I eat this, like Darrell's going to ask me, or I'm going to be embarrassed to tell him I had a cupcake or whatever it was, So it's been awesome in that sense. Just like every time I eat, or, on the weekends, it's the hardest because that's when you're not here really. And you're socializing and you're at parties or whatever, where I'm like, oh shoot, should I have another glass of wine? Oh no, Darrell's going to kill me if he sees 4 glasses of Sauv Blanc or something, So yeah, so it's been great. I started in April, and at first I was worried. I was like, is it going to be like, rice, chicken? Like, I don't want that. I want something that's very realistic, something that I can sustain. Cause at that point I had like about-ish a year till my wedding. And so I was like, I don't want to eat where I'm like, I hate this. Like, I don't want this. And Darrell, you made it like super awesome because you were like, that's not what we're going to do. You're not trying to go on stage or anything like that. And it really made me realize like, yeah, you're right. Like I can actually eat normal food, healthy food, and feel good and, be happy with what I'm eating. So,
well, that's one of the biggest misconceptions, right? Like with everybody who I've had come and do nutrition coaching with me is when they first start, they're like, all right, so we're going to have broccoli and asparagus and like chicken breast, right? And I'm like, no, that's not it. Like we're going to make this work for you and just figure out like, okay, here's the foods that Alicia likes. We're going to be able to kind of tailor what we're doing with some of the things that you like. Now, that doesn't mean you get cake and ice cream all day, right? Like everybody wants to eat, like calm down. Okay.
Well,
I said cake and ice cream. Mike went,
I just want you to know I'm taking plenty of notes on some key hot words. That I'll put the links in the description, everybody.
yeah. Easy McNugget. Easy. Okay. But yeah, I think that's kind of a big thing for a lot of people when they first start is they're like, they think the process has to be miserable, right? And it doesn't, right? And, you're proof of that. Like you're eating food that like you enjoy eating, that you like to eat.
Yes.
Now, are we doing things a little bit more in moderation? Sure, right? And am I pushing you in directions that I think that we should go with certain foods? Yeah, of course, right? But for the most part, like you're still getting to eat things that you like.
Yeah, for sure. That was, like I said, my biggest concern. I was like, I don't like that many vegetables. Oh my gosh. So like growing up, my family, we didn't eat a ton of veggies. Like they would make dinner and stuff, but it wasn't always the healthiest. So eating vegetables for me is something that I have to force myself to do. It doesn't just say, I don't think like, oh my gosh, I love broccoli. Like that's something I love. It's more of, okay, I know I need to eat this. And so that was my biggest concern. And you were like, we don't need to eat broccoli all day or anything.
Right.
So it was awesome.
There's too many options and choices out there to go, well, you have to have this one vegetable. You know what I mean? Like, cool. What do you like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. You like spinach? Let's eat some spinach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or you want to have, I don't know, cauliflower? Cool. Let's eat cauliflower.
Yeah.
You don't like that? Then don't eat it.
Yeah. So it's really made like eating and whatnot like very easy and realistic for even my lifestyle. And I feel like on the weekends I'm very much social. I go out to a lot of things, and even that, it's like I just make sure I eat a ton of meat. If if we're at a party and there's tacos, carne asada, it's like, well, this is the best I got. Like I remember when my first weekend I went out and Darrell was talking about canola oil, and I was like, oh, I don't want to eat that. I went home and told Leo, my fiance, like, no, we can't have this. And I remember they had like a taco guy, and I was like, shoot, what am I going to eat here? Like I need to eat. I don't want to go without eating. So you do what you have to do and you make it work. But, I just had the carne asada with the oil, but, you just make the best decisions you can. So it's been great.
And I think that's something like a lot of people don't realize, right, is, you and I talk good, better, best, right? A lot. Like when we sit down and, here's the best option for you. This is what we would like. Okay, what's the better option? What's the good option? Whatever. And yeah, you're going to get stuck in situations like that where you may not be able to make the best choice, but that doesn't mean you have to go off the rails.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean like, all right, man, well, the taco guy's here. I got no other option but to put down about 19 tacos.
Right.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be that way. Right? So it's getting people to make like better choices, instead of just going off the rails in a situation like that. And that's something like for you, I've seen a humongous change in, right? And it's not like you were going hog wild before and going crazy, but there was always like little things that could be changed or cleaned up. And I think that's why we're seeing so much success.
Yeah. And it's truly like just the accountability factor too. Having someone to hold you accountable is truly like life-changing, I feel like, because you're constantly thinking like, what is Darrell going to think? Or, also how you feel too. Like, after, a few months into this, I think I have to work out on Monday. Like, how am I going to feel going to that workout class? Like, do I really want to go crazy right now? Because I'm going to feel like shit working out and I'm not going to be happy, So all of that plays into a fact of, what you're eating and everything. So
like you were saying, like, you've changed things. You're talking about working out and like how you're going to feel going into workouts. Give us an idea of like some of the stuff that you have seen, like whether that's physical, mental, like just all the benefits that you've seen so far from making changes.
Yeah. Well, I come here more than I normally would have. So I used to come like, I used to be like, oh, if I can make it 3 to 4 days, like I'm happy. And that is good. Like it's not bad to a normal person. That's great. I do have my wedding. That's kind of like my goal where it's like, I want to look the best. And to be honest, outside of the wedding, I want to look good anyways, you know? And so it's motivated me to like stop thinking 3 to 4 days is enough. Come here 4 to 5. If you can even come 6, awesome. And then the workouts itself, I feel like I can last through them. And I remember it hit me a few weeks ago. I can't remember the workout. I think it might have been like running 400 meters or something. And Izzy was like, wow, you really felt it today, or something like that. And I was like,
it was the day with the lunges and the running.
I can't
right?
remember.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So Izzy made that comment, and he has no idea. But to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he noticed without him even realizing what he said. Like it made me feel like, oh yeah, like I am doing good, you know. And I was like, at first I was like, did Darrell tell everyone to like go slow? Like, is he like, hey guys, we're gonna make Alicia feel good today? And I'm like, no, he wouldn't say that. But like, I did think that. Like, did he tell people that? Like, oh my gosh. And so yeah, like I definitely feel that I'm performing better in my workouts every time. You know, every week I feel like I do get better. Like now I feel like I'm talking cocky of myself, but
no. That's
That's what you're for.
that's what I want. I want people to understand like the benefits that you are seeing, that you truly are in yourself, and you're not, and in any ways like being cocky of yourself. Like it's the stuff that you yourself are seeing personally, and you know what you've said so far. I made that comment to you, like it was like you turned up the dial on your workouts. Mm-hmm. Like the intensity level went up, like the focus went up, the strength has gone up, you know, while seeing, you know, and I'll let you talk about this side of it too, while seeing the scale move, you know, which for me isn't the end all be all, but seeing the way your clothes fit better. You're seeing the things like, you know, my clothes are fitting better. I'm feeling better. I feel better about the way that I look, you know, and that's what says a lot.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. So the workouts have been great. And I feel like, you know, my goal was just to get here and work out every day. And now it's more like I want to be the best I can be at the top of like, you know, whatever workout we're doing, and also be stronger too. Like, you know, not just using 20s or 25s. Now I'm using 30s or, you know, a little bit, maybe a little bit more on certain workouts. But even that is like, oh my God, it's working, or it's awesome. It's clicking, right? Where like everything's clicking. And then, you know, that transfers to like how you look in the mirror. Like I'm able to look at myself and be like, okay, I'm happy with the way I look, not waking up like my face is swollen from drinking all last weekend, or, you know, whatever. I remember even my skin, I told Darrell like, oh, I felt like my skin like looked a little bit more hydrated just from the amount of water. Because, you know, I drink water, but now it's not that I'm tracking my water, but I know like 4 Hydro Flask a day. That's what I'm going to try to aim for. And then I remember like one check-in point, like I was wearing jeans and I was like, oh my God, Darrell, like look at, they're kind of like loose, like they're fitting good, you know? And at first my whole mentality was like scale, like, oh, I want to be at a certain number. And Darrell, you gave me like a good talk with like, you know, past people that you train, like, sometimes it's not the number, it's just how you feel. And you could be, you know, at your highest number, but you feel the strongest, and you should be like where you want to be and what makes you feel the best. It shouldn't be, oh, I lost 20 pounds. Now I'm depriving myself of X, Y, and Z. It should be like, wow, I feel good. I'm working out well. I'm performing. My clothes fit well, all of that, you know, so that's kind of where I'm at. I think there's still, you know, work to be done, but it's all clicking and it's all working. So
yeah, and that's, you know, like with what you said right there, that's big, right? And so many people get so fixated on a number on the scale, which for some people, yeah, that number needs to come into play, right? And for, you know, depending on what the goal is, how close they are to looking the way that they want to look, right? If you're a long ways from that and you know you need to lose a lot of weight, yeah, we need to focus on the scale some. Right? Because then it's just, we're talking more of a health reason to be dropping weight. But when we start to get into the aesthetic side of things, right? And you're fine tuning like, hey, I want to look good. Mm-hmm. That number may be way different than what you think. And I use Rachel as an example, and, you know, I'm going to talk about this openly and freely because I've talked directly to here on the podcast before. When Rachel first started doing nutrition coaching with me, she was 130 pounds and thought that, well, I need to lose weight. Right? Well, Rachel at 150 pounds, 20 pounds heavier is where she went, oh man, I really like the way I look right now. This is where I feel my best and all this stuff. So what people work up in their head with what they think they need to do with that number on the scale sometimes may be off.
Yeah.
You know, you start moving in the right direction, like with feeling good, fitting good in the clothes, and just being happy with how you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part of it, right? Like when we're doing this stuff for aesthetics, for the way that you look, well, if I'm not happy with the mirror, who cares what the scale says?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, realistically, like who gives a crap?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
honestly, that conversation was like what made me like kind of like transition my like thought process of what I wanted to be. You know, like now I want to be strong and I want to perform well, and it doesn't matter like the number on the scale at the end of the day. Like I'm happy with where I'm at. So, you know, obviously I want to be stronger or whatever, but like overall, I'm very much happy. So that conversation really like digested well in me and like made me kind of change my mentality of this whole thing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. With everything that we've done to this point, right? Like we switch things, you know, we track things, you know, right now currently, you know, I'm not going to give away everything that we're doing, but I have Alicia, you know, tracking her food, and she's currently tracking macros just to kind of get a baseline with where we're at for where numbers are falling and whatnot. What has been the biggest eye opener for you? Like if anything that we've done or something that where you went, wow, I didn't realize that this was this far off, or I had to make this much of a change.
That's a good question. You know, I don't, maybe my like protein probably was the biggest change. Like, you know, I love meat. I love it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so simple. But when you're tracking everything, you're realizing how much protein is actually in everything that you eat. And having to hit my protein number, you know, was probably the biggest change, even though I absolutely love meat. But now I'm like to the point where I want everything that has the highest protein possible, like the lowest carbs possible, because now I love protein. Like, you know, I definitely feel it just in my body too. So, you know, certain areas like, you know, my thighs or whatever, like they used to be jiggly or whatever, and they're still jiggly, but like they're not as bad, you know? And I'm like, I think that's the protein, right? I don't know, maybe. And plus, you know, working out. So protein was probably my biggest difficulty just because, you know, and to me, I'm like, I don't know why it was, but it was. And
Yeah, and it is for most people, and especially women.
Yeah, when you broke it down to like, based on my macros or whatever, like try and aim for, it was like 30 or 35 per meal. That was like, oh, okay. Now I can do that now. And now I like make sure I'll enter it into my Fitness Pal and make sure certain foods are working. Cause like, I'm like, oh shoot, this is going to be too high. I'm not going to have enough for dinner or whatever it is. Like now I know how to like kind of work things out. But yeah, the protein factor was the hardest. Carbs wasn't bad for me. Like you would think like that would probably be like one of the more difficulty factors, but it wasn't that bad, to be honest. And fats here and there. But one day you were like, oh, why was your fat so high? I'm like, shoot, why was it so high? I don't even realize sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes things will shoot up like that, like little extra snacks and stuff, you know, pop in, and then you're like, oh shit, I overshot my fat today or whatever it is, you know, and that's where we just correct and move on, you know?
So overall, everything's been good. Sometimes almost eating enough calories too, and I know we're not really worried about calories at the end of the day, but sometimes I'm like, I didn't eat enough, so I'll look at my kind of my macros at the end, and I'm like, what should I eat right now? And you know, I'll try and get something at the end, whether it be like, you know, almond butter or something, a scoop of that or something, because sometimes I'll come too short. And what I realized is you really have to plan out your weeks and days. And you know, I'm very fortunate. I work from home, so I should be better, but your life gets in the way, meetings and whatever, and you have to plan for your week. So I've gotten into that habit too, just like prepping all my foods too, to help me hit those macros.
I have a question. So maybe not intermittent fasting, but do you have a time when you stop eating?
I definitely try, especially if I know I'm going to be here at like 6 a.m. I'm like, I'm not trying to be like fool or anything. So I try, so I go to bed between like 9 and 10. And I try and stop eating by like 8 if I can. So I usually stop around 8. So I usually have dinner like by like 6:30, and then I'll do a walk. I'll take my dog out. And that helps too. The walking we haven't brought up yet, but yeah, that's been a game changer too. So yeah, around 8. I don't do intermittent fasting, but I know many people who do that, and it's super like great for them.
Every time I could do that for about 2 weeks, it's felt really good.
Fasting?
Or
just going for a walk?
Well, both. Both. But like not eating until a certain time after I wake up. I can't eat before I come to the gym. Like it just doesn't work. But holding out until like noon or something like that, eating first meal, and then shutting it down like by 8 o'clock has always been kind of like, it just always felt amazing. It's kind of hard right now for me to do that. And it's going to get a lot harder in a couple weeks. But if I can, just like the sooner I eat dinner, always the better. That's all.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I mean, right now, I guess I eat between like 8, sometimes depending if I come here at most random times, but like depending on what time I come here, like 9 and like 6:30-ish, and that's where I eat all my food for the most part. Sometimes if the day gets away, I unfortunately eat at like 7:30, but never really ever past 8. So maybe on the weekends, I don't know, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's always tough for me.
The weekends are the hardest part.
Don't make it hard. What are you laughing at?
Just stay home.
No, I ain't. No, what I'm saying for you with like your like, we ain't talking about Alicia. Alicia, time out. I'm gonna make fun of this guy for a second.
We only have a limited time. Let's just focus on our.
Yeah, I'm focused. I'm focused. Shut up. It's gonna get harder. Oh, it's so hard. Shut up. Eat from 12 to 8. Shut up.
All right.
Shut up.
All right.
I don't want to hear it.
All right.
God,
You can do it.
The 12 is going to be easy. That might turn into 3.
Oh my gosh.
Starting eating at 3.
I could see that happening.
So do that.
All right.
All right. Problem solved.
Late nights, right? So
yeah, but it'll be easier for me to start the day, roll into it, and then I just don't think about eating sometimes until later.
That's good. So do that.
All right.
And plan. Like plan your foods and stuff. Almost maybe set alarms on your phone, like eat my chicken or whatever it is, you know.
He just got sad when you said chicken though. You didn't follow that. You didn't follow that with McNugget, so he got sad.
He was like,
chicken.
You know what?
Am I calling the Colonel? Am I calling Wendy?
Leo, my fiance, loves McDonald's, and you know, for the past few months, he's gotten McDonald's in the car with me and has asked, "Do you want a fry? Do you want something?"
Did you punch him in the throat?
No,
I would.
I don't even want it. Like yesterday, he literally had the fry like in my face. I'm like, "Get it out! Like I don't want it."
Yeah, if you guys have never met Leo.
Yeah. How's Leo's nutrition these days?
Oh,
Well, hey,
Every day
I wasn't
I
even talking about his nutrition. I was just, talking about Leo being Leo and kind of a punk and liking messing with people. But Leo's soft serve ice cream nutrition from.
we live in walking distance from a McDonald's, so it doesn't help. But I will say this: his nutrition, because what I'm eating and things I have to buy, like when we go to Costco, we have a list now, and he'll help me try and look for certain foods, and he eats pretty much the foods I eat for the most part. We don't weigh anything out for him or anything like that. It's the stuff he does outside of our household. At school, if he goes to the cafeteria, or when he's really craving a caramel sundae from McDonald's, he'll have those little mishaps. But for the most part, he's switched to like what I'm eating for the most part. And even the walks, like he'll know, okay, he doesn't go on 3 walks, but he'll do the night walk with us. So with Lucky and I, so he's definitely incorporated it. And I think any day now he's going to come back to the gym. It's just a matter of what day that's going to be. I ask him for the most part every week, like, do you want to come to the gym? He can come here at 6 a.m. So I think slowly it will get to him. But yeah, the food's gotten to him already too.
We'll wear him down.
Good.
We'll wear him down. We'll stay on him. Cool. What other questions do you have for Miss Alicia?
Let's see. When is your wedding?
January 29th, 2022.
Okay. Is that, what day of the week is it?
Friday.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, it's a Friday. Yeah, you need to remember that, actually.
Yeah, Mike, you should have that
in
date.
your
Like, oh, that's
calendar.
today? I'll be right there.
Hey, we're going to tattoo. So Mike is the DJ, MC for Alicia and Leo's wedding. So we're hoping that he
Tattoo
would
your guys' anniversary
Yeah.
before mine.
When is it?
put it on your
Yeah,
wrist.
Your wife would love
You want me to tattoo you? You want a tattoo?
Yeah, sure.
I got you. I got you.
Let me have a bottle while you do it.
We're going prison yard though. I'm using like
That's
a
okay.
big pen and yeah,
Give me a bottle of something.
it'd be great.
But Mike, speaking of like the whole walks and stuff, I remember one podcast you did, you broke it down. You're like, a walk is not that hard. It's 5 minutes out, 5 minutes in. And I'm not here to like make you
That's
feel
right.
worse. But
Uh-oh.
even that phrase that you used in the podcast instills with me. Sometimes I'm at my house and I'm like,
Sorry, I
have
said
time.
that.
I have a Zoom in like 30 minutes. Okay, Mike said it's 5 minutes out, 5 minutes in. And now I know it's just like to the corner, this corner
Yeah.
of my block. And like, I think of that phrase you use and I'm like, come on, anyone can do that, you know?
Yeah, you hear that, Mike?
Sorry.
Anyone
Yeah.
can. You said
I
it.
said it. That's
Wow.
right.
And
I'm
I'll be
helping
honest,
the people.
it's
I'm
not-
here
Wow.
for the people.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I tried the best that I can do to do as many walks as possible, but there are times where it just like, you know, like today, my Zoom's going to be like an all day Zoom. So I don't know if I can actually go out until after dinner. So, you know, but even just going back to just being held accountable, I still think about it. Even that to me is like, okay, that's a good thing. You're acknowledging, you're recognizing it. So if I can't physically do it, okay, I'm not going to be super hard on myself. But if I can, I will go. And, you know, lucky my dog loves it. That makes it easy too, is having a dog. But yeah, you definitely make me recognize
You're
the
welcome.
walks and think about that on the day-to-day basis.
You just made his day.
That's right.
You just made his day.
Oh, I hear
He doesn't walk, but at least somebody else is because of him.
Yeah.
I hear Darrell in my head probably every time I order something or go
Oh,
to
yeah.
this grocery store.
I'm sure many
I
of us here
imagine
at the
he's
gym-
like behind me watching, like
Uh-huh.
just with
Can
a
he
baseball
see me
bat.
right now? Yeah.
So, Miss Alicia, tell me, like, with all the stuff that we're doing, right, and things that we've incorporated, things that we've changed, what has been the hardest thing for you to adapt to or change?
Probably just eating more. And then this isn't really something that I've had to change, but adapt to is like the weekends. I know we just brought it up, but that is really challenging. You know, I'm like I said, I'm pretty social. You know, there's a few weekends where I don't do anything, but I remember July, every weekend, Leo and I had gone out for like some kind of trip or party or something, and it was like, crap, like this month's gonna be tough. And I remember like I definitely like had some fun on the weekends, and I remember you being like, hey, when's our meetup this month or whatever, and I was like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, I have done good Monday through Friday, and I remember you saying, no, we're still meeting up. Like, sometimes you have to, like, why did you eat that, or what was going through your mind, like kind of that whole process, like let's talk that out. And you know, at the end of the month, like, did I have some fun? Yes, but I'm not gonna like weigh down on myself. My numbers were still good, like the scale was still good in my head. So I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad of a month, but just adjusting to what to do when you're in social aspects. And, you know, sometimes, you know, my friends even like now they know like, okay, I'm really trying to like be good. Like, don't pressure me into drinking an extra glass of wine or whatever. So that whole process was a little hard to work through because like your friends are the peer pressures. They're like, come on, Alicia, like have a glass of wine, or come on, you know, do this. And it's like, you know, you really have to tell them like, hey, like I'm really actually trying to do this. Like the more you antagonize me, like it's harder for me. So now that whole process was like a little bit bumpy to work through, but I'm pretty good now. And then, yeah, just eating enough, especially on the weekends too. Cause like sometimes you just won't eat cause it's not good, you know, like, you know, there's a baby shower I went to and there's a candy bar. It's like, I'm not going to eat candy bars and French toast at this baby shower. So you'll go a long amount of time without eating and you're like, shoot, now I need to make that up.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel a little like, crap, am I messing everything up? You know, but everything works itself out and you figure it out, you know? So,
Well, you know, and like what you said too with, you know, where you have a month like that where you go, all right, I got all this stuff going on. I don't want to meet, you know, I've got all these different things. And those are the times, like for me as a coach, where I go, no, you need to.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where I need to make sure, like the client, this is just from my own personal, where I need to make sure the client, like Alicia, knows, okay, I haven't been at my best. I haven't been the most dialed in, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Right? And Alicia, okay, if I know you're okay with it,
Yes.
then I need to make sure that you know that we need to be okay with just treading water,
Yeah.
right? Because that's where a lot of, and I've had miscommunication with clients like this before of like, well, hey, I'm still not losing. It's your fault. And it's like, well, time out. You said you were cool because you were going on vacation, eating what you wanted to, whatever. Like, that's where I need you to understand, like, hey, we're not going to make progress.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds simple, but so many people are like, well, I've been back on track for 3 days. I don't know why I didn't lose the weight that I gained. Well, come on, dum-dum.
Yeah.
Like, let's think about what we've done here, right? Like, and that's where having those real conversations, like, it goes a long way between, your coach and you as a client. Like, hey, let's talk through it, even when times aren't perfect, because not everything's going to be perfect. That's life. Like, things are going to come up. Like, and I understand that. And I plan for things like that as your coach, So yeah.
Have you noticed recovery better, improvement?
Yeah. And I remember like when I first started, Darrell asking me like, how are you feeling after, the prior day's workout? And I was like, actually, I'm not as sore as I was, or I'm feeling good. I'm ready to come back and work out again. And it really has to do with the food you're putting in your body. And, even though
imagine that, Mike.
I think sometimes maybe like after like just going on, the nightly walk too, just like keep, if you came off like maybe today's workout, like this would be a day you might want to walk a little bit. I don't know, but all of that plays into a factor of how you recover. So I feel like I'm pretty good. There's been a few days where I'm like, oh, I'm really sore. Jump ropes, like for my calves and certain things, but like
that was a lot of double unders.
For the most part,
that was a lot of double unders.
Yeah, that got me sore for like 3 days. Yeah, and a calf sore is like so uncomfortable. It's weird.
Well, yeah, because there's no avoiding it. It's like, oh, still, I got to walk again, still sore.
I think I'd rather be sore from squats than like the jump ropes, So, but yeah, my recovery has been really, really good. So
It's awesome.
Appreciating it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny what happens when you start eating more protein.
Yes. Yes. And yeah.
And like I said, I was saying that earlier, right? Like I think for women, like if I can give you something to take away from this, like something to do, like eat more protein.
Yeah.
Now, when I say eat more protein, that doesn't mean like you should up your fat totals and everything like that. And like, oh, he said eat more protein, so I'm gonna have prime rib 3 times a day. Calm down, Rachel, if you're watching this, because Rachel's like, you said. But no, like more protein. That's like where our recovery comes from. That's where you start to feel better, recover better, and all that stuff. And just most women in general don't eat enough protein.
Yeah. And at first, like even the protein, like I remember the last meetup, I'm like, I'm kind of getting tired of the chicken. Like, and then Darrell's like, you can have other proteins. Like, I don't know why I was like kind of limiting myself to ground beef, bacon, and pretty much chicken. Like those were my proteins. And then, for lunch I'd have, hard boiled eggs or tuna. I was kind of getting into this routine where I'm like, oh, I can't eat another chicken, like I can't. And then Darrell was like, you can eat other meats, like go out and get other meats out there. And
right, and we started talking about different things,
and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you're so right, and just talking things out with people. Sometimes you get in a little slump, like where I was, and I'm like, oh yeah, and even talking to other people who are also nutrition clients of yours, like they're awesome. They'll be like, oh, try this or go to this store and get this, and I'm like, this is great, because it makes you just feel like not happy again, because I'm happy this whole time. Just like, oh, this is new. Like, I'm happy I'm getting, it's a little treat,
Well, once you're in it too, with something like that, right, is your focus kind of narrows, right? Like with food. And I think everybody kind of gets that point of burnout with certain foods because they get stuck in that rut, right? They go, okay, here's the foods that I fall into, and my focus kind of goes whoop and comes in tight. Well, you can do that for a certain amount of time, but most of the time, after a while, most people are like, all right, I need something else. But you've been stuck here for so long, you forget what's on that outside.
Yeah.
And that what's on that outside a lot of times is stuff that you can have. And that was like our last meeting, we're talking about, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess I could do that. Or I guess I could do this. And it was a couple simple things where I threw a couple different options to you. And you're like, cool. That just changed my entire menu without a whole lot of thought.
Yes.
You know?
Game changer. And like I said, just talking it out and even having someone, it's nice to have, you as a nutrition coach to just talk things out like that. If you're doing it on your own, it could have been, a bad thing could have been like, oh, I'm over this chicken. I'm going to go get Taco Bell, or, that could have been the worst, or whatever it may have been. But when you talk it out with someone and you have someone to like talk through what you're doing with, it makes it easier,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Aside from the tuna, do you eat fish?
I'm not the biggest fish lover. It's weird. I'll eat tuna salads pretty much. It's like, I look forward to that for lunch. But I'll have shrimp. I love shrimp, but salmon and all that, I'll eat it. It's not something I enjoy eating, so I don't really buy it that much. But shrimp, I do like shrimp a lot. So
Are you a fish guy? Like fish?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really?
What's your favorite?
Probably halibut.
Yeah,
Something like that.
halibut's so good. Love halibut.
Yeah.
Yes. And then like certain sea basses. And
Chilean sea bass.
Monkfish.
Yeah.
is off the hook.
Yeah.
I like scallops too. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Scallops.
scallops are
Yeah.
amazing.
And I only ate them when I worked at the restaurant, and they would be so good. And everyone's like, they're super hard to make, so be careful. And I'm like, now I don't get them anywhere else unless I'm at a nice restaurant somewhere. I'm like,
Yeah, you can overcook a scallop really easy, and then it turns into like this rubbery.
Yeah. They're not too crazy.
What, to cook?
Yeah.
No, you just got to make sure your temp is right, because I've seen people like, number one, they'll leave them, they'll cook them too long, or they'll cook too many in a pan at once, right? Or, they'll go too high of a heat, and all of a sudden, like, you're chewing on rubber, and it's like, oh, if I'm going to spend $20 a pound on something, it better not taste like rubber,
We'll get bags of those from Costco, and I'll go through those.
I've seen them at Costco.
Awesome. So now I'm hungry.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
So
go ahead.
So what are some of your favorite foods? And then if you don't cover them, what are some of the add-ons that you guys came up with?
Okay, so my go-to foods right now for breakfast, I pretty much eat egg bites every single day. I'll make my own egg bite, which I'm obsessed with. I will say I got introduced to turkey chorizo, so I've been having a little bit of that. Like sometimes you have to plan, as I say, and like I meal prep pretty much on Sundays. When like Sundays get busy or something, we're traveling, like I'll just cook 3 eggs, over easy or something. But chorizo. And then for lunch, I love tuna salad. So I'll have tuna salad with a few black olives. Like black olives are amazing.
Oh,
They're so
God.
good.
I don't like olives.
And then sometimes I'll have egg salad too. Like I go between those two. My newest is like those, what are they called? I told you those egg wraps. They're like
The crepini egg and cauliflower wraps.
And then I'll do
So they looks like a tortilla, but they're made of egg white and cauliflower.
they're like
sounds
so
pretty
good. So good. So I'll make like a little turkey sandwich out of that. So I'll put turkey breast in
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and then some mustard and cheese, and I'll roll it up, and it's so good. I'm like, what the heck? Like these are great.
Simple,
Sounds-
easy.
Yeah.
Sounds really good for on the go too.
Yeah, totally. I make them for lunch for Leo, and he'll eat them too. And then for dinner, it's taco meat, chicken from Darrell. It's my dinners are very boring, but my lunch, I look forward to lunch.
I take offense to that, since I cook the chicken a lot of times. You know what I mean? I kind of take offense to that.
Yeah. No. Like as in, like I don't do anything outside the box. I mean, I go to this really amazing. I get my food from this amazing cook. Did I
It's
ever
not.
tell you about the prank I did on Leo with your
Yes,
meat?
with my food. Oh, yeah. So you can tell everybody that.
Okay,
This is awesome.
Hilarious. So Darrell started, cooking food for the gym, and I would buy them. And I was like, I'm going to play a prank on Leo. This was like during quarantine. I'm like bored. So I filmed every time I got the food. So I'd be like, hey guys, I got my food. And I sent it to my friends. And then I would put it in one of our Tupperwares, and I'd be like, Leo he wasn't getting up till later.
So what I cook is I usually do batches of protein,
Yes.
like usually about 3 pounds worth of protein. Like we'll do chicken or tri-tip or pulled pork or any of these things. So go ahead.
So I'd put him in our Tupperware so he didn't see the foil or anything like that. And he'd wake up and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I made this awesome pulled pork. And I'd play it off like, I'm a little nervous. I wasn't sure what ingredients to use. And then I'd have him try it because he was working from home. And I'd film him and he'd be like, oh my God, this is so good. What did you do? And I'm like, oh, are you sure? Like, I would totally like play into it. So I did that for like 4 weeks or so,
For
like a whole
weeks?
month. Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
then I put all the videos together, and for Valentine's Day, I gave him that. I said, "You've been punked. Like, I've been cooking this."
You thought this was me?
He was so mad, and all my friends and family were like dying, and I was like, how did you not know? Like, our house isn't that big. You would smell the pulled pork.
Yeah, smell of pulled pork.
Like,
Dude,
as
it
a
was like,
smoker,
but the
like-
thing is that like a lot of it was like, I mean, stuff that like if you're cooking like carnitas,
Yes.
right? Like, you know how long it takes to make carnitas? So I'm making batches of carnitas, like smoked tri-tips, smoked pulled pork, like,
You know what, though, at the same time, maybe he's like, I don't care how it happened. But let's just
doing
keep this
something
going.
right, yeah.
Let's keep this.
It was so funny. He
Right.
was so mad. He was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I was not making this. Like, between 6 and like 8 a.m., you think I'm in the kitchen cooking
right,
carnitas? Like,
right,
what the
right,
hell?
right. Yeah, no,
He's
I just
like,
whipped,
wherever you were.
I just whipped up this batch of pulled pork in an hour.
It was hilarious. But yeah, no, your foods are not boring. I'm not saying that. They're amazing. And I'm excited for today's food.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Chicken.
good.
Yeah.
That batch, that smoked chicken, little honey pecan, little jalapeno spice to it.
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
Yum, yum, yum.
Mm-hmm.
But so the true test to this whole nutrition thing, I have my wedding dress already, and it's stored at my grandma's. I'm going to my grandma's on Labor Day, and I'm going to try it on and see how it fits. We'll see.
Yeah.
It fit before, but we'll just see if it looks better.
Of course it will.
I'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah. You know what it is too? How you feel in it and
Yeah.
how you feel like you look in it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So
And I think we're on to something.
Excited.
I think we're on to something. So, do you have any other questions for Miss Alicia?
Nope. Just keep those walks up.
Don't look at me.
You're doing great.
Don't look at me. Don't make eye contact. Put your head down.
Glad I could help.
the
Put your head
same-
down. I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
5 minutes in, 5 minutes out
That's it.
after each meal.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
And it really makes you feel better. Your digestion of everything, like it's amazing.
Yeah. It's weird. I know this guy who said that once, but I don't know.
3 10-minute walks, life changer.
I'm going to punch you. As soon as this is over, I'm going to punch you to death.
Keep that camera rolling even when we're done.
Yeah. Need some little evidence. Cool. Well, Alicia, thank you for
Yeah,
coming on
thanks
and
for
talking to
having
everybody. I think this is pretty cool where people kind of hear about like, nutrition coaching, kind of what it's about. And all nutrition coaches are different. If you are in need of a nutrition coach, hey, reach out. Even if it's something where you and I aren't going to work together long term, and have anything. If there's any questions I can help you with, just kind of get you started, let us know. Send us a DM. You can send us an email at castironworkouts@gmail.com. If you need hair and beauty tips from Miss Alicia, hit us up for that too, because it's always been a well-known thing around here that Alicia definitely has the best hair in the world. So yeah, I think every chick that comes to the gym ever has always been like, that chick's hair is perfect. How's her hair always so perfect? We just finished a workout. How is her hair perfect? I'm like, I don't
know. Some people are like, you're not sweating. I'm like, this hair is drenched. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so like I say, guys, you guys have questions, reach out, hit us up. Don't forget to follow us, like us, subscribe on YouTube. Share this with your friends. If you guys get a chance, check out my book, Whatever It Takes, on Amazon. Other than that, Mike, you got anything to add?
Nah, just again, hit us up with any messages about walks, and that should be fine.
I hate you so much. I hate you so
You
much.
should set a goal this week. Like, I'm going to try to do 3 10-minute walks a day.
Yeah, I should. You're right.
Next podcast,
Yeah,
see if you do it.
Hey, Mike, you should, huh?
I should.
Yeah,
I
that'd probably
agree.
be cool.
I agree.
Hey, Dalton, come here.
Uh-oh. Send the missile.
Come here.
Uh-oh.
Come here. Come right over here behind me.
Watch your head.
Stand right there and just say hi to everybody. This is more for me than anybody else. Just stand up tall. Just so I can see where he's at in relation to me. on camera since he's been on the podcast a few times. He's going to be taller than you in a minute.
I know. I
doesn't
can't believe it.
Need to stand on anything anymore.
He's growing so fast.
He used to have to stand on something. He's good now.
4th grade tomorrow, bro.
And
Wow.
he's beating everyone in the workout classes.
Yeah. Yeah, fourth
This is who you
grade.
need to keep up with.
4th grade tomorrow. You want to say anything to anybody? You want to say hi to Mama? Here. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mama.
There you go. Right on, guys. Again, if you got any questions for us, reach out, and hope you guys are having a good day. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Put that in the recycle. Thanks, buddy.